has company in what seems to be the jersey and kit choice this year, dark shorts and a white top. How many teams are doing that in this race? UAE, Q36.5, Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe. It's not that easy for us commentators watching, but Maxim van Gils is looking like he's almost out to prove a point here today, Magnus. I can't help but feel that, having won the time trial last year, maybe looking at how well he rode across just the only 5 kilometres of the whole of this race last year. He's out to do it the long, hard way this year, from stage 1 as well, by the looks of it.
It definitely looks that way. This is one of the little rises that we have before we start the proper descent. And you can see everyone is now labouring hard. It's far more difficult this than what the road book is actually giving us. And yeah, it looks like everyone is on the limit.
Hey, that is really good to see. It's Steph Kras, who is the Total Energies rider in here. He had a rough old couple of years with injuries and all sorts of problems. Started to come good at the end of last season, the Belgian. And still only 29 years of age, but he'd been one of the best sort of, I guess, Belgian climbers over the last few years. Oh, hello. Let's in on this for a moment. Disunion there between the UAE boys and Maxim van Gils by the looks of it, Maggie. Can you look up and show what's going on there?
Well, I think I would say Tim Mullins had a bit of a go at him for going as hard as he was on that little rise, instead of keeping the little group there together and working smoothly. And sometimes I think it looks like Van Gils has got super legs on. And he probably doesn't feel that he's going as hard as he is, but with the likes of Tim Mullins having gone across to this group, he will certainly be feeling it. And you have to be really aware of how hard you go when you're in a group like that, because there's still some way to the finish. It's not a bad idea to sort of have that alliance and so have someone help you ride to stay away from the group behind.
Into another of these little descents in amongst the kind of ups and downs, but it is constantly effectively going down. It's just little rises as they go through the smaller valleys in between. This is back to the Maxim van Gils group. Looks like he's now, well, we'll see if anyone comes through. Whether he's sitting, no, they do come through. Tim Wellens now, 2018 winner, 5-time stage winner in this race. And it looks to me, Magnus, like maybe Pavel Sivakov is getting a chance to sit on, which makes sense considering how long he was out there.
Yeah, it does make sense. Sivakov's legs are probably feeling it at this point in the race. But yeah, I think it's in Tim Mullins and Pavel Sivakov's interest to keep working with Van Gils as well. Even if Van Gils was to put a little bit of time in between himself and the two UAE riders, it's not a bad situation to be in after stage 1.
This was Maxim van Gils' first race of last year. Of course, he would have ridden the whole week, but just the time trial for him. And we'll watch the body language as Tim Wellens comes through for Maxim van Gils, by the looks of it, happy to slot in second wheel, understanding that Pavel Sivakov is resting on the back. Andries Letterson doing a really good job of hanging on to the back of this Tom Pidcock-led group, Maggie, too.
Yeah, he is. And there's a bigger group coming behind us as well. I think that's actually the group that has grown somewhat. So there will be some more riders keen to ride, no doubt. But you just want to make sure that you don't let a UAE rider get onto the front of this group here now and sort of just slow it down a little bit. And I think that was actually the group behind further back. It looked like Nairo Quintana was in that.
Did it? Right, okay. So they might be group 3 on the road as we look at them. Here it is again. Marcus Hulgaard is there, the Norwegian champion. He's his spot. And yeah, I think you're right. I think Nairo Quintana, third from back there, Maggie, as we look at them. Now, where is Enric Mas? I don't think I saw Enric Mas in there. He used to be their leader. No, we saw him have was that white change? We saw him having a problem, didn't we? That's not a good sign.
And right as it was kicking off as well. So it is possible that Enric Mas wasn't back in or in a position where he could respond and has been somewhat left behind at that particular point in the race.
It looked like Tobias Johannesson was in there as well for X Mobility, who have multiple options today. By the looks of it, they brought a really strong team to this race. They also have Adne Holter, the 24-year-old Norwegian. I haven't seen him yet, but he was climbing particularly well in the Alula Tour a couple of weeks ago. So we'll keep an eye out for Holter, who finished on the podium behind Pidcock on that occasion. This is Clement Berthet who's leading this little group here at the moment, or is it? No, sorry, it's Jordan Labros.
Yeah. This is Group 3 on the road then.
Yeah, there they are. 2 decathlon riders in there, Berthet and Labros. They've had a good start to this race as well. On the back of that group, was that Soler on the back of that group? We're losing touch with who's in which group at the moment. We've got effectively 4 groups and then a chasing group behind them as well. This is
Here comes
the head of the
Frigiliana.
race. That you can be certain of. Andreas Leknesson no longer with these leaders. Maxim Van Hilst
And
sat
I'm
on at the
just
moment.
down
We've
here
got
on the
two-
right.
The 2 UAE Team Emirates XRG riders.
Okay.
And Pidcock chasing again. He's doing a lot of work, Magnus, on this opening stage and wanting to lead on the descents understandably, but not all the descents are as steep maybe as he'd like, so he's pressing on in between to hold his position before the next few corners where he feels he can make an advantage.
Here I am.
It takes energy, I
Here I
guess.
am.
It definitely does. We're about to get to the more difficult backhills, just missing the apex of that corner. We'll see
Let's
here.
have a look at it.
It's coming in a bit hot on that one, and oh, good job.
I did warn him.
Yeah, thankfully, he's just locked up a little bit and got himself back on. But, well, do the 2 UAE boys now hit it? Excuse me, and try and keep him at bay? That would be, well, wouldn't be great to see, would it? But they might do. Here he is.
Unfortunately, it's part of bike racing, these sort of things, and that's why you see quite often that teams are pushing it on the downhill, and if you get it wrong, you get it wrong. It's a part of the racing. But on this descent here, now, there are some steeper sections with really some tight turns, so you want to make sure that you or at least gone through it on Value and studied it, so that you can kind of try and remember.
And there's our apartment.
Because even from a team car, it's virtually impossible to guide the rides. You can give them certain specific points where you can sort of say, at kilometer 153, there's a section of 2 corners coming up that are really quite difficult and super tight. So pay attention there. But much more you can't actually do from the car at this point to help the riders.
We're watching Maxim Van Hilst now trying to get back in touch with Pavel Sivakov.
It's my favourite hill coming up.
About 15 seconds of lead over this group, the Marc Soler group, which still has Andreas Leknesson in it, Tom Pidcock, Steph Kras in there too, Clement Berthet. And, to say, Andreas Leknesson doing a really good job hanging on the Norwegian. That's Group 2 on the road.
I think they need to start really chasing hard here now, because otherwise they're going to get to the bottom of this descent and still have that great gap of about 20 seconds, and that will be hard to close in, and certainly on, when we're looking at Hills going up the last couple of climbs, he's looking like he's got super legs on. And certainly Valens and Sivakov are not particularly slow either when it comes to climbing.
No, I think, Magnus, the reason I asked the question about do they hit it or do they pause and wait a little bit was because of a little bit of inkling beef going on between them with Van Hilst having a go at them. I just wondered whether
It's my favourite hill.
It does look like they've pressed right on, but they have to. It's
I've
very
been down here
easy.
135 times.
It is the final has stopped. The race has started, and at that point you don't wait. You don't think about doing that. It's part, like I said, it's part of the bike race, and it's also if they start waiting, then they lose time to this group.
These are about the last 10k. It is the last 10k. I'm a little bit uncertain as to exactly the distance, but I can tell you they are effectively descending for about another 6 kilometres until they reach a little bit of parkland on the edge of Niera. They ride through the middle of Niera and out to the Cueva de Niera, the caves to the eastern edge. And we should get some lovely seaside shots
Niera.
down there. At the moment, though, it is all happening at the front of this race. We've got Steph Crass actually distancing a little bit the other four in here, including Tom Pidcock, who's been doing this to them the last couple of descents. So Crass looking like he's descending really well as well. This is back to the front though, and we missed the moment on camera where Van Hilst got back up to Sivakov and Wellens. He looks across at them now as they come through.
I don't think he's even worried about that particular thing. Let's just get back in there, still keep on riding now, because the time gap is from what I've seen, is hovering around that sort of 15 seconds, so they haven't got a lot of time to play with. So playing any games at this point, or having words about something is just not possible at this particular moment.
No. Tom Pidcock now goes back to the front of this group of 5 riders now it is, with, understandably, Marc Soler able to sit on the back. He's not going to do anything here, is he, Maggie? With 2 teammates on the road?
He's not, and I think when you were saying about Steph Crass really pushing on, I think actually Leknesson looks like he's the one struggling a little bit on the descent. He's always leaving a bit more of a gap and then struggling to hold the wheel around the corners, and with that it's actually slowing that group down somewhat on the descent here, and they haven't really got the time to do that at the moment.
Worth me pointing out, there are 6 world teams in this race. The world team's not involved in the front end here. Ineos Grenadiers, who don't really have a kind of top big name favourite really for the race. Brandon Rivera probably being their best climber, Colombian, but they are not involved at the front end of this race at the moment. Jacob Alula is the other team not involved in these front groups, as we watch Maxi Van Hilst just stretching things out a little bit in our leading group of 3. But just to update people, Alan Happily, the world cross-country mountain bike champion, the South African, for the Australian team, Jacob Alula, he is, I believe, in the 4th group, that Nairo Quintana group, along with Carboni and others as well. So Happily is there. We are reviving that climbing battle this week between the Olympic and the world mountain bike champion, between Pidcock and Happily. We'll keep an eye on that the rest of the week, but Happily also not involved at the front end of this race at the moment.
Yeah, and it'd be interesting to see how Hasley gets on when we get into European roads where you haven't got an awful lot of space. It's far more twisty, technical. I mean, you'd think that he would be capable of that based on
Blimey, it looks like New York.
But road and mountain bike are two completely different.
Yeah, it looks huge.
Different things. Certainly when it comes to the technique on the bike and how you corner, and the positioning as well is coming into play here a lot.
Maggie, as you probably saw, Happily, just closing that conversation here, because we're getting very close to the finish now, but Happily was caught out in the crosswinds in the Alula Tour as well on that final stage, and the stage before it as well. So maybe the positioning and what have you still coming to him at this point, but certainly climbing-wise, he looked only just second best to Tom Pidcock in that race. So
yeah.
we look forward to seeing him perform this week. But
That's cheating. I have to go round that roundabout.
Finish, 10-second bonus, 10, 6 and 4 to sort out, 5k to go. The chasing group here with Marc Soler sitting on, he's trying to get Andreas Leknesson to come past him. I think, as you mentioned, Maggie, Leknesson might be on his last legs here, and Soler even forcing him through. 4k to go nearly for our leading 3.
It certainly looks like he's both legs and maybe a little bit of skills is starting to, he's starting to suffer Leknesson there, and I'm not surprised either. He's spent an awful long time out probably, but this now as well, I think Frank Hills needs to be paying attention to the 2 UAE riders. They start attacking him here now, and I think Frank Hills has got the better of them on the grind. But yeah, you don't want to sort of give yourself that work to do to catch on. But this group, I don't think is getting back in today.